how thick the stack is. I'm going to try to read all 7 Harry Potter books before the new year. So I have a little over a month. So the challenge begins today. To give an update. It is November 20th, so it's been 2 days since I've started my Harry Potter challenge, and I'm already behind. I think my plan said I'd read 100 pages a day, and right now I'm on page 143, which is chapter 9. But yeah, I'm almost halfway. So I am going to read a little bit before I go to tennis practice, and then I'll try to read more when I get back home. It's been a couple days, and so I figured I needed to update the video. So I did finish Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone yesterday morning, and great first book to a series in my opinion. I gave it 4 stars. But after I finished the first book, I did start Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets yesterday, and I am on chapter 7, so which is page 104. And I'm going to try and get some reading done today. I have been reading mostly on my Kindle, and right now it says I have 4 hours left to finish the book. Today is November 23rd, so I've got one book down and 6 to go. So wish me luck. I'm officially on book 2. Today is November 24th, and today I just finished the second Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and I rated the last book, I believe, 4 stars, and I probably give this book 4 stars too. I just think it's really easy read. I know, because I mean these are technically like young adult books, so they're not that difficult, but this is a really good read. The first book, I will say, is almost exactly like the movie. If you're looking to compare like the books to the movies, the first book is very, very similar to the movies. This one's very similar to the movies as well. There might be like a few like little differences, but second book is very similar to the movies as well. So now we move on to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So this is the third book. It is a little thicker. I think the first one was like about 300 pages, and the second one was about 340 pages about. You can see this book is a little thicker. So while those books were like 300 pages, this one is 400. So we'll see how long this takes me to read. I will say, from what I remember, this book was really fun and good to read out of what I had already read so far. So like, I read the first 5 books like 4 years ago, and so this one I remember being really good. I'm officially on the 3rd Harry Potter book, and so far I've read 2, so 2 down and 5 to go. Here is my update on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I am on chapter 8, page 141. I have mostly been reading on my Kindle just because it's easier to take places and everything. and right now it says I'm about 30% into the book. But so far, Prisoner of Azkaban has been really good. I really like Professor Lupin, so I love when he's introduced. And I also, like, I've already read the book and seen the movies, so if you haven't, this might be like a little spoiler, but Professor Lupin was friends with Harry's dad, and so I like when that's revealed and Harry can kind of just have some more insight on his dad and like his history as like when his dad was in school at Hogwarts as a boy and everything. So today is November 27th. It is Thanksgiving today, so today will be interesting to see how much reading I can get done. For the update, I'm still reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, so that is book 3, and I'm on chapter 14, page 269. As of right now, my schedule says that I should be finishing the 3rd book today, so that's the goal. But yeah, here's, well, I guess in the book, I always like change like where I'm at in the book, like the physical book, when like to where I'm at in my Kindle, so because it's nice to see like how many physical pages you have left. So yeah, that's where I'm at in the book, Snape's Grudge. So as you can see, like I have a little like less than half of the book left, and I feel like when I get halfway in a book, I usually can like fly through it, because that's just when all the crazy stuff happens, like the exciting stuff, and I know what already happened, so I'm excited to read the rest of this book. Today is November 28th. It is the day after Thanksgiving. I officially finished Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Like I said, I've been reading on my Kindle mainly, but 5 stars right here. 5 stars. Great book. I love this book. I think this is one of my favorite out of the series, mainly because you get more of a background about Harry's dad, and I just think it's so cool to learn about like his dad and how his dad was in school and his dad's friends. So 5 stars. Love this book. I think it's really cool. I like the time turner aspect, and like you don't really find that out till like almost end of the book. So 5 stars. Loved it. I finished it this morning, which means we have this thick book next. So I will be reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. As you can see there, this one is, let's see how many pages. Oh my god. This is 734 pages. Oh my gosh. Here I am for another update. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd. I am still reading The Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I've been reading mainly on my Kindle, and I also downloaded the audiobook on Audible. I found this app and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna finish this book if I don't have another way to get it done. So I've been reading in the car, trying to get as much done as I can. So I'm on chapter 10, which honestly is not that far. So I've read like this much. So I've read about like 20% of the book. I will say though, this book, especially listening it on Audible, like on listening to the audiobook on Audible, the one where it's narrated by Stephen Fry, it's hilarious listening to this book so far. Like, this one's definitely a lot darker, I would say, than the other 3. The first 2 are like very like children oriented, I guess, like YA, young adult. Then like the third one I think is when it starts to get like a little bit more, not heavy, but I get like you learn more background information. This gets a little more heavier. Like there's some scenes that happen in here that are a little discomforting, I would say, but it's a lot more interesting because I feel like the books definitely follow the like kids who first read the first book in Harry Potter. Okay, when they get older, the second book, like it follows along with your life. Like when you first start Harry Potter when you're, say, middle school, and then as you continue, it kind of grows with you, which I think is really cool. So this one's definitely a lot heavier, but like really funny. Well, so far anyways. Chapter 21. I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. 5 stars right here. 5 stars. This probably is the best so far out of the first 4. Highly recommend. There's so much that goes on. If most people know about Harry Potter, so there, you know, there's a tournament that's going on, and in the tournament you get introduced to like these 2 other schools that are also like wizarding schools, and you meet their headmasters, and then there's just a lot going on that gets revealed at the end, which is very interesting when everything connects at the end because they find out what's been going on. But definitely the best so far in the series. So I did listen and read this book. So like I listened to the audiobook like when I was in the car, because you see how thick this is. And so if I was not like reading the book physically, I was listening to it while I was like making dinner, doing the dishes, getting ready. I'm committed to finishing the series before the end of the year. So this was definitely a really like entertaining read. A lot of action, a lot of stuff going on, and I feel like you get more of a perspective of like how dark, I guess, the dark arts are, the dark side and everything. So great book. Now we go to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is also another thick book. I think, let's see, this one was, I think, a little over 700 pages. Order of the Phoenix is, let's see, 870 pages. So this is actually more than the last book. Oof. Here we go. I'm on book number 5 of the Harry Potter series. I guess Rafa decided to join me. Today is December 15th, and I officially finished Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix yesterday. I read the last 2 chapters yesterday, and this was a thick book. I listened to a lot of the audiobook for this one because there's just no time in my day to read this and still stay on schedule. I would definitely give this book like 4.5 stars. I will say I did like Goblet of Fire better than this book, but I still think this book is really good. You get a new villain in this book who is very, very fun to hate. So Professor Umbridge is a fun character that gets introduced in this book. So 4.5 stars, I would say, for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. It is kind of a sad book. There's a lot that goes on, and it, you know, you get to see some new locations that you haven't really been introduced to before. But 4.5 stars. The 5th book is officially done. And now for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Right now, I'm probably not on schedule, but I'm going to try my best because I can't listen to this book on audiobook. I am not paying the $30-something to buy the audiobook for this book and for the last book. So the last two books I am going to read, like, just read and not use the audiobook at all. I am back with another update. I officially finished The Half-Blood Prince yesterday. I read basically all day yesterday. I would give this book, I would say 4.5 stars. I really liked it. It was really annoying at times because Harry is making all these accusations or making all these like statements or theories, I guess, and literally no one believes him or no one is taking his theories seriously. They're just like, oh no, like just no, like don't, you know, don't worry about it, this and that. And of course he ends up being, not of course, but he ends up being, spoiler alert, he ends up being right, kind of. So that's a little annoying. There's a lot of differences in the book compared to the movie. I feel like after the third book, each book gets more and more different from, like, they like vary more as you read each book compared to the movies. Like there's extra scenes in here. That's interesting when you get to like read something that you haven't seen or heard of, whatever. But yeah, so officially finished the 6th Harry Potter book. So check that off. I am now on the last book. So I'm now on Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Okay, so today is January 5th. I'm a little late to wrapping up this video, but I do want to just announce that I did finish Harry Potter before the new year. I finished Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows on December 28th. I was actually on a plane, and that's kind of why I haven't finished wrapping this video up. This was by far the best book of the series. Like, all the other books was ultimately leading to this one, and I honestly just, I recommend you read the series just to get to this book. It just had everything. It was very entertaining. There's so much stuff going on. Every chapter, I was so just entertained. So 5-star book right here. 5 stars. Even like, I mean, I know I rated some of the other Harry Potter books 5 stars, but like this is above those books, I would say. Definitely worth reading the series because I feel like you just appreciate this book even more. In the back of the book, there is a epilogue, and it's 19 years later. So you get to see, you know, where they're at after all the chaos and war, basically, that happened in all the other books. Definitely read the series if you haven't. Most people obviously have, or you've seen the movies. Books are always better. I'll always recommend reading the book. So I do have 2 highlights from this book. Hopefully you've read the book because this might be a little spoiler, but the first highlight, which is like, I guess 89% into the book. So the first highlight is, "But this is touching, Severus," said Dumbledore seriously. "Have you grown to care for the boy after all?" And if you know, you know. And the second highlight was, "Neither can live while the other survives, and one of us is about to leave for good." So I felt like that's a poetic ending to the video. Go read and get your 2026 reading goal written down so you can enjoy some books this year.